All right. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining Put a Pin in It Conversations with Elisa. I am your host of Put a Pin in It, and my name is Elisa. All right. So tonight, um, we're going to be talking about a few things, but mainly we're going to be talking about the documentary that BBC put out concerning the prophet TB Joshua. All right, so if you haven't watched the documentary, this is probably going to be a spoiler. Well, it's not going to be a spoiler because I'm not going to go scene for scene. I'm just going to do an overall synopsis of what I think of the documentary. Okay, and what I think moving forward, how can we prevent something like this happening if it happened, because it is alleged. It has not been founded. So but the testimonies and everything that they had in the documentaries were very telling. But before we go on with that, I just want to say hello, everyone that is watching. Please, when you come in, tell me where you're from. Say hello back. I started off a little late today because I'm having a guest tonight, a guest that is married to a Nigerian, and she's going to give us some background on how, the culture is and what could have set up this camp, I want to say, with TB Joshua. All right, so if you have not watched it, after this, hopefully you will go watch it. It was a great watch. It was not long at all. So if you go, and I mean, it's in three parts, but every part is filled with a whole lot of information. Good evening, St. Mary's, Georgia. Thank you for joining, Sabrina. All right, like I said, I'm going to have a guest on tonight. Thank you for saying my name like that. Elisa. Elisa. All right. Corey is from Chicago. All right. So I want to give y'all an update about me. If you follow me on social media, you know that over the break, I broke my pinky toe. It is amazing because it is not painful. I'm trying to figure out why, for one, my foot is not swollen. For two, it doesn't hurt. And for three, I can walk. So I'm trying to figure out what the issue is. I'm thinking I'm supposed to get like leave at home, and you know I have to prop my foot up, all of these, but it's that's not what it's given. So it looks like I'm going to be at work tomorrow. I mean, I do have to walk slower than what I usually do. But that is because I'm giving myself precaution. But I was walking, talking on the phone, and I crunched my toe on the side of my bed. My bed looked at me and was like, "You thought I was gonna move?" That bed did not move. And so, good evening, Teresa Bryant. Hello, Nina Johnson. Thank you for joining. That bed did not move. It looked at me like I was crazy. And so, me being me, I was like, I ain't really got to go to the doctor or whatever. But I talked to my aunt and I talked to a friend, and she told me, and my aunt told me that I needed to go to the urgent care, and I did, and they told me that it was broken. But I still went and saw Wemby play on yesterday and all of those things. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Before I Nina says she's ready for the conversation. I'm ready too. I'm waiting on my guest. So while I'm waiting on my guest, I want to talk about what happened over the weekend. Now, it's been a week, y'all. If you watch football, if you have been watching football, the Browns lost to the Texans, Dolphins lost to the Chiefs, the Cowboys lost to the Packers, and the Rams lost to the Lions. So now we have this weekend, the Texans will be playing the Ravens. The Green Bay Packers will be playing San Francisco 49ers. And on Sunday, you got the Buccaneers against the Lions. That's going to be a good game. Kansas City against Buffalo. All right. So it has been set, and we're about to see who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I am really rooting for the Texans. That's who I'm rooting for. Don't ask me why. I like Stroud. I think he's a young quarterback, and I think he really needs his shine this year. He's really been doing well. So I believe that Stroud should be. I think that should go all the way. But we'll see. Even if they don't, it don't matter because my Vikings ain't in it. Nowhere to be found. The Cowboys got stomped. So it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Next, I did watch Lift. Okay, and I told y'all to put a pin in Lift. I did watch Lift. It was Lift was a little corny for me. Okay, it was corny, and it was it to me it should have been a cartoon. If it was a cartoon, it probably would have been more believable. And I fell asleep on it, so I don't even know what the end was in the movie. But when I posted it, a lot of people said that they went to sleep on it too. So I don't feel bad. I went to sleep on it. But of course, the first week they're saying that it is, number one in Netflix, of course, because people are going to search it out. But I don't believe that it's going to be number one for a long time. But this weekend, I am going to see the Book of Clarence. I showed you a clip of it last week. It's going to be somebody's interpretation of how the black people were in the Bible. Okay. All right. So my guest has arrived. And we are about to crack open this documentary of TB Joshua. And I'm gonna tell you why I chose this guest is because she is married to someone that is from Africa. I think he's Nigerian, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna ask her that. And I want her to tell us about their culture and all of those things. Okay. So this is what we're going to be talking about now. So go ahead and like and share because we about to dive into this. And I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your feedback on what you thought about this documentary. Okay. So I want y'all to welcome to the stage Melissa.
Hey, oh, I like the claps. Hey, everybody.
How are you?
I am well.
So, how do you say your last name?
Osunwa.
Osunwa, and
Yes.
you are married to.
I am married to Louis Osunwa, who is a 100% Nigerian. He
Mhm.
still talks Nigerian too, even though he lives here in Atlanta.
Okay.
My husband was born in Nigeria. He's only been in the United States for 4 years.
Mm.
So, His whole family lives still in Nigeria. All of my in-laws are in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I'm the only relative of his in the United States. So
Do you take like frequent trips back to Nigeria?
yes, I visit Nigeria at least for 2 months a year. So the whole month of August and September of this past year, I was in Nigeria.
Okay. Before I go into, have you watched the documentary?
Yes, all three parts.
And have you encountered TB Joshua, like personally, or no?
No, never
Okay.
seen them.
Me neither, but I'm just saying.
Well, I actually wanted to. When I first visited Nigeria in 2018 was my first trip there. And I was like, oh, I want to go see TP Josh. My husband was like, mm-mm. He was like, that crook, you're not going to see him. I was like, why not? He was like,
Okay,
no.
so the word on the street. So to me, because when I watched the documentary, this is what it stuck out to me. Most of the people that was his disciples really weren't Nigerians.
Right.
They were like foreigners, tourists, and people like that.
Right.
So is the word on the street for the locals is he's a crook? Is that the word on the street for the locals?
Yes, but this is the thing. My husband said he remember when he started his ministry. He dated a girl that went to his church. He also had friends that went to the church as well. And it started with he did his advertisement in South Africa where there's a lot of white people there and in London. And it's something about black people that believe white people more than they believe their own. And he knew that. So he knew if I could get the white people to say, oh, there's a prophet among you, then the black people would jump on too. So at first, oh, why is these white people coming to visit Nigeria? Because anybody that's ever been to Nigeria, you may see a spot of a white man, but it's not common. Like going to somewhere like Lenox Mall, you may see a white man, but you know he a visitor. And everybody's looking at him like, what is he doing here? Like he don't belong here. He don't look like us.
Right.
So when they started seeing like an influx of white people at the airports, they just was like, why are they here? And then when they always said, oh, we're going to TP Joshua ministry, they was like, there must be something going on down there. The white people come here.
Right. I'm glad you said that too. I'm glad you said it because I'm gonna go through that. Now, if you haven't watched or if you don't know who TB Joshua is, he is a prophet. Well, that's what he said. And he said that he had a vision that God called him to preach. But I looked up his background. He started out really poor. He was in poverty. And he didn't finish school from what I saw. And then he just started a ministry in his 20s. And so I've seen this pattern so many times, not only in Africa, but in the United States as well. When people cannot get the accolades of what they should outside of the church, for some reason inside the church, they just blossom. Like it's like everybody just flock to them because they just get all the accolades. And then, and it's those people that when you strip them of that, it's like they lose their mind. And so when I watched this documentary and I saw his disciples, is what they call themselves, and how it progressed. Because at first it wasn't like that. From what the documentary said, they started off humble. They didn't, whatever like that. But his target was white people. And I thought that very interesting. And I thought it very interesting too that it was a white woman that blew the whistle on, hey, I'm about to tell it. White women got that anointing now. If they gonna tell it, they gonna tell it now. And the lady that told it was a white woman. But what I don't understand, so can you tell me the culture in Nigeria? Are the women like really submissive?
Yes and no. I would say yes, traditionally they are. But Nigeria, we have to understand that America is the center of the whole world. I've been to 18 different countries. And I've been to Nigeria so many times I can't even count, sometimes twice in a year. And America actually sets the tone for how other countries live. So when they start watching Housewives and all these other hood shows where women are fighting their husbands and cussing them out, they are starting to become that way. Now, when you're talking about my mother-in-law, She's still submissive. She just like, yes, sir. Okay, babe. No problem. But these younger ones that's born in the 2000s, they just like the hood rats down in Bankhead. They the same because they've seen it and they want to be like the Americans. And they's like, oh, American women, they don't obey their husband. I don't have to obey either.
You know, it's funny you said that because I've been to Tanzania. I've been to Africa, and what I noticed in Tanzania was because I went there on a crusade type thing, so it was kind of like a church thing. So what I noticed is that they really believe America is like when I went then. I don't know how they think now. I went in like 2008. They really think that America is like God's chosen place.
Absolutely.
And so we did a Q&A over there. And so we asked them to ask us any questions that they wanted to ask. And they asked, are our presidents, I'm laughing because it's funny, all our presidents saved and filled with the Holy Ghost? I said, what? They thought that if in order for you to run America, you had to be a man of God. And we looked at each other and was like, no, that is not the case. And so, and with the miracles and the signs and wonders, you have to be careful about that too in Africa, because every time we prayed over there, somebody was demon possessed. Like it was like a dozen. Like as in America, it's not as privy. I think it's because in America, our mindset and stuff just intertwines with whatever we got going on. But over there, it just like it really stunned me because I'm like, why are these people like falling out, convulsing, and you're not even saying anything?
But let me say this to you about that. Demon possession, when it comes to in the presence of the Lord or in the presence of an actual real man of God or prophet, is actually a good thing. The reason why we don't see demonic manifestations in America is because our pastors are in agreement with that demon. So in the Bible, when Jesus came to a certain area and the demon said, have you came to torment us before the time, they began to speak out. So when they're uncomfortable in the presence of somebody that's really in a holy state, that's when they begin to manifest. But you got the pastors in America and maybe just in the land, I can't speak for nowhere else because that's where we live, but they smoking weed and they always high and they're drunk. And these are not all the pastors, because I don't want anybody to say, oh, you saying something about my pastor. It's not all of them, but I know of a few pastors that are into the same things that people like P. Diddy are into. They have orgy parties. They have this kind of thing. So how will a demon manifest itself when a demon is your friend?
True. But I'm just saying that even I was holding the first lady's hand. Even her hand started balling up. I'm like, what is going? But anyway, it's just so what I'm getting to is TB Joshua showed them that that's how he drawed a lot of people, because he showed that he had power. And I'm quotation because in the documentary they said that a lot of that was staged. But we really don't know. And so the reason why I'm having this conversation is because this is what I had a problem with. I had a problem with the people that was around him. I'm not, and the reason why I'm not saying the women is because I was thinking about the culture. But then now that I think about it, a lot of those people were not even from his land. That was from other people, and they just moved there, and he had a compound of people that just lived with him, right? So, but the men around, you can't tell me that they didn't know what was going on.
They did. And have you noticed with the people that came, the Caucasian people that came, he never did miracles for them. They just seen the miracles from other people.
Right.
So because he never did miracles, they seen it with other people. Most of it, I do believe, was staged. But when you put power in quotation marks, there's power that can come from different sides. You know, there's black magic. There's the darkness of the world that gives power to perform certain things. So um, when we're talking about Lagos, is where his church is located. Lagos used to be the capital of Nigeria. It no longer is, but in 1975, they made the capital of Nigeria Abuja. But Lagos in itself today has 24 million people. So Lagos, the tribe that's dominant in Lagos is the Yoruba tribe. My husband was telling me the other day, he said, babe, do you understand that the Yorubas, most of them serve multiple deities? They're polytheistic.
Gotcha.
So just like any other people, we like spookiness. We like to see stuff that's kind of mystic and weird. So anything that's like that you don't have to work for and somebody can lay hands and you become a millionaire overnight, of course I'm gonna be attracted to it. Because you already came from a tribal meeting in your village where they serving the god of Oshun and Ogun and the god of fire and the god of iron, and you've seen all this spiritual stuff. So when somebody come up and attach Jesus' name to it, and white people's on it too, like, oh, he got something going on. And also with the 24 million people that live in Lagos, 37% of them don't have a job.
Wow.
Out of 30 and the 37% that don't have a job, out of the 24 million, 67% of them are living below the poverty line. So most of them are poor. And when you look at the history of cults, even in America, when you go back and look at them, most of them are disenfranchised people.
Right.
People that don't have money are more likely to be susceptible of cultish behavior and to be drawn to that kind of stuff. Right. So it's easy to say, oh, it's a man out here that's working miracles and he giving people money. I don't have money. The God sent me a miracle. Okay, his name Prophet T.P. Joshua. This is my answer. So you're easy to be convinced into something like that when you don't have something. And this is kind of a sidebar, but it's not. But this is what happens when you got a single woman that you see her into a toxic relationship with a man and he beating her, he cheating, and you like, why she can't leave? Because she don't have no money. Right. She don't have any resources. And it's hard to leave a toxic situation when you feel like this is what I've been praying for. I've been praying for somebody to take care of my kids, pay this light bill, pay this rent. But then you telling me to leave. And even though I do see something that's wrong, which I do believe the people around TP Joshua seen stuff that was wrong. But if that's where your provision are coming from and he paying these people like what they call 20,000 naira to do like a fake miracle, okay, that pays my rent for the whole month. Why would I say anything?
True. That's true. That's true. But again, I'm just saying because and I'm saying it because I'm looking at the situations that's going on now that is viral now. Like the TD Jakes and the Diddy back, what was it, R. Kelly. Okay, when the S hit the fan, that's when people start talking. Now, I mean, I get it, but like Diddy's, whoever this guy that's saying all this stuff, I think it's his bodyguard or somebody that's saying all these things about when he was confirming what Cassie was saying. Like, I'm like, why is I just don't understand why isn't it said sooner? But then again, I get it. I ain't talking about the people that's being abused. I'm talking about the people that is just been there, and like you said, they're getting paid. So why would
Cassie get paid?
Cassie got paid.
Okay, so like the love of money is the root of all evil, and the lack of money is also the root of evil as well. So Cassie's situation was all about a check because now she's not even talking about it. She got her few million.
But was it all about a check though?
I mean, how can you sell out if it wasn't all about a check? Why you didn't let us go through the court proceedings? She had evidence. She had text messages. She had, of course, videos and all this other stuff. It wasn't about money. I would have told Denny, I'm not settling. We're going to court. The whole world is going to know. I'm going to expose what you did so you won't be a monster to somebody else.
But the whole world did know because she put it out there in her.
Not all of it.
I mean, enough. It was enough for us to be like, Diddy, golly, man. It was enough.
But it was kind of like bait for him to go ahead and settle with her quickly, which he did within less than 7 days. She got her money, and now
24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours.
But my thing, I don't think hers was about it, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't think that. And the only reason why I changed my thinking about that is because of I said it a while back, is because of the murder trial. There's the evidence that she would need to go to trial is no more. So therefore her going to trial would have been it just would have been her just going to trial. It would, because there's no evidence. But with her doing a civil suit is different from a criminal suit.
Right.
So I don't think it would have been settled if she would have did that. And I think her lawyers knew that. And that's how that went down. And in the murder trials, that's what they did with whatever, I can't think his name right now, but that's what they did with him, because they didn't have any evidence, so they had to take him to civil court, and they won, based off of what was said or whatever like that. But my thing is, I just don't understand. But then again, I do. So that's why I want to talk about it, because what can we do forward? Because the church is still open, his wife may be a different type leader, who knows? She's in charge now. His mysterious death, we don't know if he took his life or if he just died of natural causes. None of that came out. But when he got word that they were going to BBC with this documentary, within a week he was dead.
Yeah. So the Nigerians are speculating, from my husband talking to the members at the church. They don't want to say, but they say he committed suicide in his office at the church.
I believe
But of course, him preaching against suicide and saying you're going to hell, you can't say that our leader committed suicide. And when he died, he was actually dead like days before they actually announced it. The wife was trying to figure out how they can cover it up and all this other stuff. I remember when he died. And they was just trying to do this they was trying to get the body from the church before the members could see it, because it was actually on the church ground. And with all the people that lived there, they didn't want them to see T.P. Joshua's body. But they said he actually took some kind of poison and he took his life. But that didn't come out on a documentary.
I believe that. That I believe, because
he was young. He was like 50 some years old
either. So I believe that. Dang. Ooh.
So the stress of being exposed is crazy. And let's talk about the fact that his wife didn't live with him.
I knew that.
So all these secret chamber conversations he was having and all these meetings with these girls telling them bring the Bible to his room, she wasn't around. And he had convinced the members that she was a little crazy. And he told the members also that the Lord wanted him to be in a consecrated place and he couldn't have sex, not even with his wife. And the reason why she couldn't come around is because she was trying to tempt him to have sex. Like, y'all are married, sir.
I saw that on the documentary. That was stupid. But they believed it. But and then that's the thing. Now that makes me feel like, okay, what did his wife know? Or did she not care? Because
she probably didn't care.
Because she getting money, and she just didn't care. She just was grateful about the lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
You not only do you got money, but you also got a title and you got prestige as you're T.P. Joshua's wife.
Right.
And when you go to your private jet, that you got people opening doors for you, carrying your bags, that you are meeting presidents. She only was there for like photo ops. When presidents would come in town and their wives, she would go there to greet them. But she had to know that something strange was going on. And I'm pretty sure it started a long time ago. They had started to say that T.P. Joshua was having sex with the women before the white lady even said it. Some of the other African members had been saying, oh, prophet are raping girls and all this other stuff. But because they thought that there was some kind of miraculous healing going on, people tend to overlook your idiosyncrasies and your proclivities when they feel like you're a miracle worker.
Right. That's true.
Which I want. Me and you both from the country. I'm from the country in Alabama. You from Carolina. We don't care.
No.
You can bring my leg. My leg can be short, and you can pray for my leg, and it come out. And you can give me $10,000. If you're a crook, we're gonna say you're a crook. That's just how we're raised.
Right.
So when it comes to African women, their culture, they are trained to overlook certain things in their marriage. They are trained to get beat, and your mama say, "Oh, he just built you a nice house. Please overlook it. Please just pray for him."
What?
You can your I'm telling you from friends and family members. You have people, husbands giving them STDs, and the family, the little prayer group with your mother-in-law, the aunties will come together. Oh, let's pray you don't leave your husband. He's a good man. So I asked my husband, I said, what quantifies a man as a good man in Nigeria? He pays
Mm,
bills, take care of his family. I said, that's it. Like, okay, we thank God for coins, but that's it. Like,
right.
you can literally do anything that you want to do, and I gotta stay because you're financially taking care of me. That's crazy.
Very.
So I'm like you. You're a woman that got her own money. I got my
Hmm.
own money.
Right.
I wanted to make sure that before I got married, that I had my own house. I bought my own house. I was very well traveled. There's not too much that my husband could have did for me that I haven't already done for myself. I had already traveled to 10 different countries on vacation
Right.
alone. Dubai, Paris, and all these other places. I
Right.
didn't have a car payment. I wasn't in debt. I didn't have bad credit. Because when people feel like they can control you with money, they will.
Mm, yep, they will.
Especially African men, when they feel like you don't have another outlet or you don't have another resource, and say, "Oh, I know she can't leave. I done got her pregnant with 3 kids and she don't have a job." Sometimes
Right.
that be a setup. Like they gonna make sure that you're gonna be pregnant every year to make sure that you don't go anywhere. The devil is a liar. So even with me marrying a Nigerian who's never dated an American, I had to retrain his brain to know what marriage
I
is in
wanted to
the
ask you
context
about
of
this.
me.
I wanted to ask you. So how, knowing that you are American and country, because
Mm-hmm.
that's two different types of Americans.
Right, real country.
American and black and in from the South.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you meet your, because I know automatically for me, when I hear that accent, I shut down.
Mm-hmm.
If I hear an African accent, I'm like, no, he ain't the one. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm like, he ain't it. Because they know how to talk.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to get in them ears. And so when I went to Tanzania, matter of fact, when I went to Tanzania, the armor bearer was trying, he was like, "Do you think you can live in Africa?" I said, "No." I said, "No, sir, I can't. I cannot." Because I know what he was getting at. Like, you're very pretty. You don't do you like Africa? Oh, it's very nice here. It's different than what I've seen on TV. I said it's really beautiful. You do think you can? No, I cannot. Oop. So how did you meet your husband? And he doesn't seem like you said you had to retrain him. So what did that look like?
It looked like a lot of fussing, a lot of fighting, a lot of prayers, a lot of
Uh,
tears, a lot of I don't want you no more. Let's get a divorce. That's what it looked like in the beginning, because I just was like, it would be simple stuff. Now my husband, he is from the city.
mhm,
He never lived in Lagos, but he's from Port Harcourt, where he didn't live in the countryside. So he knew MTV, BET, all those shows. He watched the Cosby shows, and his family really wasn't like dirt poor.
mhm.
So he was Americanized a little bit. He had visited America, but he wasn't someone who was all the way Americanized. And it would be stuff like, "Go bring my food now." I was like, "Sir, who you talking to?" Because I'm from
But you,
Alabama. Like,
by the way,
we choke out men. That's what we do up from Alabama. And I was like, I don't even want to have that kind of relationship with you. And when I talked to his uncle, he got one uncle in the whole United States. It's his only relative. I forgot about this uncle. But
mhm,
he is an uncle that's been here for 20 years. And he told me when I talked to him, he said he don't know that he's doing wrong. He said he feel like that's a part of his masculine alpha male persona to talk to you like that. He feels like this is how he's going to train you. He said, but what I need you to do, he said, Melissa, you have to train him to how you want to be treated. And I told him, I said, listen, I don't mind cooking because I'm a cook. Like I got a catering
yeah,
company. I don't mind
mhm,
cooking. But it's the way you say it. You can say, babe, I'm hungry. Can you fix me something to eat? Sure, babe. That's no problem. But with all that fussing and hollering and you raising your voice like I'm your child, we're not doing
mm-mm.
that. And I had to lay down ground rules like in the beginning before we even got married. I told him I'm not dealing with cheating. Been there, done that. You're not gonna be out the house until 3 o'clock in the morning. We ain't doing that. I'm not dealing with no drunkard. You're not getting high. And I thank God that I actually looked up on a good one, because a lot of them are just not that away. I thank God I don't have a man that's sneaky. I thank God he's not a liar. He's just chill. We cohabitate together, we work together. And if he not making money, he at home. But I had to literally tell him from like an emotional standpoint how damaging it is for you to talk to me in this kind of way, because he did not know. He just was like, well, my dad talked to my mom this way, or or my girlfriends, they don't feel like anything wrong with you. You're just supposed to do what your husband say. I said, yeah, submission has its limits. Submission and slavery is not the same thing.
Right.
It's two different things. I said, so what you're used to is an old African model where women are enslaved to men, where they have no opinion, where you can't say this hurt my feelings, where they feel like it's disrespectful for you to say something that's wrong. And I had to train him to say, we are a partnership. This is not you, not Hitler, like you're not a terrorist over me. We're going to work in partnership together. I do whatever you want me to do, but you have to lay it out in a way that I can actually eat it and digest it. Right. You just can't say anything to me like that. So we on year number 5. We don't even argue at all.
That's good.
We done got to the point where we're literally coasting. We wake up, we happy to see each other. I can't even remember the last time I've raised my voice in the house. It's been years since I've even had to say anything to him. So I think it takes some time when you're dating somebody from another culture to get accommodated to their culture, and he had to get accommodated to mine too. With the certain things that we do that they don't do over there. So, like my husband's Catholic as well. I'm Pentecostal. So explaining to him that we might get out of church 11, 12 o'clock at night, he just like, baby, where have you been, baby? I was like, baby, I was on the floor. I was rolling. I was speaking into him. He was like, baby, it is 11:30 at night. Church lasts an hour and a half. I said, y'all do mass and y'all go home and sing 2 songs. No, we had a prayer line going. We had prophecy. We had all this stuff going on. He just was like, oh, okay. So this is y'all. I'm like, yes, we have long services. This is what we do. I'm not doing nothing else. I'm in church somewhere, slaying in the spirit on the floor. So yeah, that's what we do. But I will say that TP Joshua documentary actually surprised a lot of people. And my husband just was like, y'all didn't know he was a crook? He was like, oh, all these Americans on my timeline, they keep saying, oh my God, like they're so shocked. I was like, baby, we don't really see stuff like this in America. Like we are bold people. In Atlanta, I got pastor friends that literally had members come and bring guns to their church to confront them.
Yeah.
So we are people, we crunk. Yep. We're gonna confront a pastor. They will cuss the pastor out, they fight pastors. But they were shooting in Creflo out of church not too long ago, a couple of years ago. So like we come from a different kind of people where we are warriors, natural warriors. And it's kind of hard to deceive people who are always looking for somebody to be a crook anyway. We already got our antennas up and we thinking, that pastor ain't right. Even if he is right, we still thinking, it's something going on with him.
I just think I would say that it, like Nina said, she said it didn't surprise her. I always knew he wasn't real. Now the only reason why I gotta say this, because my dad, I talk about this a lot. If you read my book, you know that my dad was a faith healer. So sometimes when I see healing take place, I know that it can be done because I've seen it done the right way. But when I seen TB Joshua, I think I saw him when he first came out, and it was on that channel, I think that Emmanuel TV or whatever on YouTube. I saw it. I glanced at it, but I never looked at it again. So he didn't really catch my attention. Like the Benny Hinn, I knew that he wasn't like, I was like, But because of who he was, I mean, he was Jewish, and so people was flocking to him because he was a new thing. But TB Joshua, he had all these people, and all of it was different. But then I thought about this testimony that this pastor said at Tanzania, how witchcraft is heavy over there, and so he said he was doing a testimony. He said, I was talking to this witch doctor and he turned into a bird. And then all of us, Americans, we was like, oh, okay, ha 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 ha. He was like, no, literally, he turned into a bird and he was flying over.
So that was hard for you to believe, right?
Right. But it happens over there. Their power over there is magnified way more because they're more subject to whatever it is you have to be subject to. And so when I saw TB Joshua, I was like, I think he's working black man, like like magic or something, because it is very heavy over there, where they turn into animals, they turn into objects. So what we do over here in America, we limit ourselves because our mind is just over there. It's whatever. And so I was surprised that people over there were being deceived. Well, your husband confirmed that they're not deceived because they know about that. But the white people, of course, they're going to be deceived because they don't see stuff like that.
Well, my husband said they knew about it, but it was thousands of people who were deceived that were Nigerians, mainly people that was poor. That wanted a savior. We've always been. Larry asked on his when he posted about it, said, why are people so easily deceived over there? And I posted and I said, people have always from the beginning of time looked for a savior.
And do you think they were like they wanted him to pick them to be a disciple so that they could be taken care of?
Yeah, and they knew that spiritual power come along with being picked with him. They can also do miracles too. They can also get healed, and also being one of his close disciples, that means you also got money too.
Yeah.
And people look at people as a god that was connected to TB Joshua.
Because that's another thing that too, if you're connected to him, they think you have the same power as he does.
Absolutely.
So therefore you
get clout. People like clout.
Yeah. Okay, I get it now. That's probably why they would put up with all the stuff that they put up with. Because other than that, I don't even know.
But you remember with the one man that was narrating the story, the older Nigerian guy, he was like, I was in his ministry for 14 years. I did not know it was wrong. And I'm sitting up here like, sir, you don't know it's wrong for your pastor to be raping women in the middle of the night? And you don't think that it's wrong for your pastor to have to tell these girls when they can go pee?
I didn't see that part. I know I would
have to ask him when they have to go sleep, when they said
prophet. Because he wanted to know where they were in the compound at all times.
Right. And if they had to urinate, they would ask him, can I go to the bathroom? He would say, oh, you need to hold it for 2 hours. So how did you not think that it was wrong? And maybe he's saying that because now since BBC have done their research and their investigation, they're coming down on people that was associated with him. And for him to say, I didn't think that it was wrong, kind of frees him from any liability or responsibility to say, oh, I was deceived too. I didn't know it was wrong. Come on now. That's not right. For a grown man.
I felt bad for the girl that was a lesbian, because she was like, at the time, she knew she liked girls, but at the time she was like, why he don't ever pick me to come to the room or whatever like that. And when she got up there, I know she was like, Lord.
A wonderful surprise. She was like,
oh my God. I didn't know
told her to bring your Bible. Let me see your notes from the service. I said, what? You want to see my notes?
Oh man, that is crazy. Like I just don't. I would, and his own daughter, that was sad for me too. Yeah, how he didn't want to claim her because she was from somebody else. That really, all of it was mind-boggling, but it just was the lesbian girl, the daughter, those two stuck out to me. The other ones, I don't know, but the one with the eyes that went like that, I think she just wanted to be on. She liked it. She liked it.
She was on the floor, and he told her, he said, you got a prostitute spirit on you. And she started wilding out and all this other stuff. So she started following him, but he was one of the ones. She was one of the ones that he was having sex with. So you having sex with the woman that you cast the prostitute demon out that you didn't want to be in her?
Right.
That was crazy.
Right.
But let's
It
talk
is.
about the daughter. Obviously, she has some kind of real trauma
Yeah.
from experiencing. And my husband said that they knew about her a long time ago. But the reason he treated her so bad because he hated her mom.
Mm.
And just like he had that clinic at his church and he wanted everybody to get an abortion, this woman did not abort her baby.
Right.
So he was determined that he was going to hate this child and basically abuse her because of her mama. He couldn't stand the mama.
Right.
But I was like, the fact that the people stayed at the compound, and I heard one of the girls was saying, one of the Caucasian girls said they couldn't leave the compound. Now, how things are set up in Nigeria, most people do family have compounds. My in-laws, they have a compound too, where the family live, and it's like a big old gate, and they do that to keep like security for security risks. Like
Right.
these tall gates that might be 10, 12 feet long that you can't see over them, just in case somebody try to rob them or anything like that. You can't climb over a gate that tall.
Right.
And so it's normal for them to have a compound, but you can at least walk out of the compound and go to the store down the street. They got convenience stores everywhere.
Right.
And TP was telling these members, you cannot leave the compound. To not even go to the store to buy some snacks, like, that's absolutely crazy.
It is. It is.
And
Absolutely.
the fact that the building crashed.
Yep. I want to talk about that too.
The building
So
crashed and he didn't care at all.
I thought that was really sad. Like you bring tourists over, you know the hotel is not up to code, and you house all of these people in the hotel and it collapsed. And you got
Right.
all of these bodies in this building. And you making it seem like a airplane a airplane flew into the hotel, and that's not what happened. It just collapsed. So my and then how they was like hauling the bodies off at night. See, that's why I don't understand. You got to tell. You can't tell me. Okay, all the raping and all that kind of stuff. Okay, but you hauling dead bodies so that it's not said that there were bodies in this hotel. You can't tell me you don't know that's wrong.
Yeah, they knew that it was wrong, but they believed in the prophet so much and other miracles that they thought that they seen, so they just did anything. They was under like a spell. But I'm just like, some people, the spell wasn't lifted till he died. And there are some pastors in America, they may not go that far because we got so many laws that protect people in America from going that far. But like the fact that they were, like you said, chopping off limbs, they was cutting off people's leg and hiding the bodies from the public. We
Mhm.
knew from just in the building that people had died in the building.
That's it.
And in the emphasis stages of them building a building, the engineer told them, we cannot build this past a couple of stories. And he was like, I don't care. He was like, we need to build as high as we can so we can get more money. And when I heard him say that he wanted to charge the same price for American hotels in Nigeria, American hotels for probably a Marriott is at least $80 a night. These people don't even make on average $80 in 1 month.
Yeah. I
So,
stayed in a nice hotel in Tanzania, and my bill in their money was $1 million, but it was only like $500.
right. Yeah, and in Nigeria, I stayed at a Marriott resort on the beach, very nice, like a 5-star hotel. My rate every night was like 35 USD.
Yeah, I stayed there for a week. It was only like $500. You cannot stay in America for a week for no 500. That's like a day, 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, no, it was supposed to be in 2 weeks, but we left early because there was a rat in our room, so we left.
But back to the scripture that says the love of money is the root to all evil. That
It
hotel
is.
was about money. Him
Yes.
doing the people, money, greed, and power has been the downfall of most people in ministry. When you think about the sins that most of these pastors commit, you having sex with all women, that ain't nothing but greed. You just can't
Right.
have one. Money,
Right.
greed, and power, and people love it. and people flock to it. And we've always been a people, we like to be abused. For some reason, we feel like somebody's oppressing us, that this is what love is.
Mm-hmm.
And with him chopping them in their throat doing service and kicking them in their stomach and all this other stuff, they feel like, oh, that's chastisement from daddy.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. He made them believe that if he chastised them, that was like something that they should be appreciative because
Right.
he's chastising them. Like he's God. And if God chastises you, he loves you. Oh, but listen, and what really boggled me too was they said while he was having sex with these people, he will be listening to American preachers.
Mm-hmm.
So again, which I think is really weird, but but then it's not. Over here, I keep hearing you compare it to over here and there. Over here is not as outward, but it's still going on.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to talk about Nita, but Nita asking people to give $14.99 for a prayer conference. Um, the scandal that's going on with TD Jakes and all it. I mean, it's not we're not they don't have compounds, but they do have things that's going on that's very similar. And you have these people that don't know what to do because this is TD Jakes, this is Juanita Bynum, this is so they're in a hard place because they don't want to out them because of who they are. But then again, it's like if you don't stop the cycle, it's going to continue to go on.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I'm not saying TD Jakes is guilty ish, and I'm not saying I'm not saying but there are a lot of things that's going on that is the same. It's just it's not as open. TB Joshua stuff was open
Mm-hmm.
and it was out there. Like you got people living on a compound. It's kind of like the guy in Texas. I mean Waco. It
Mm-hmm.
that is crazy. Like you got people drinking poison because I mean it's just crazy. That but people do it because like you said earlier, they're looking for a savior. These people don't know themselves. These people are looking for somebody that they can trust. And once you give them that little piece of, I love you and I'll be there for you, then that's it. It's like gangs, it's like all those things. It's just they slap Jesus' name on it. So
Absolutely. And this is why it's good. This kind of stuff starts with parenting. Like I love the way you parent your daughters and you close to
mhm,
them and you have a conversation with them, which is really not common today, but people don't understand that kind of training goes a long way.
mhm,
Because when you have parents that reject you, you are easy to fall in the hands of a false prophet.
yep,
Or somebody to say, oh, you're my daughter. And all of them get called this dad, papa, because these are most of the time, these are people that don't have either a relationship with their father or
right,
not have a good relationship or don't know who their dad is. So you get lost in the shuffle of being intoxicated with people of power and of influence because you were never validated from your father. You never
right,
had a mother that said, I love you. You never had a mother that take time and told you how valuable you are. But because me and you both came from stable households, I'm always looking at somebody cross-eyed and just like,
right,
my dad used to tell us, oh, don't be jumping up and down because the guy tell you cute. You are cute, but at the same time, I don't need you to get intoxicated with compliments
right,
because I don't need anybody controlling you.
right.
So I've never been a person that just can do anything with anybody just because you said I'm cute. I'm like, okay, thank you. God bless you. Bye bye. Bye. Because I have a mother.
That's the same. My parents, they were very hands on with me as well. Every day they told me how pretty I was, how proud they were of me, and all of those things. So, but I still, because in my teenage years, which is why I'm so leery about me and my daughter's teenage years, it seemed like there is a cycle that tries to happen in the teenage years
Mm-hmm.
where you just don't want to listen to your mother per se. Like if you're a girl, you don't want to listen to your mom. So fortunately though, even though had a wedge between my relationship with my mom, I had a godmother that was in the church also. So I was with her instead of, so it wasn't like I was with somebody that's going to lead me astray. But I found out when I got older that made me subject to people using me.
Mhm.
Because if they, especially females, because I was always looking for that female, how can I say it? I was always looking for that female figure,
Nurture.
for
Mhm.
that acknowledgement and that affirmation. And so I fell into a ministry where I was being abused financially. I ain't gonna, it wasn't nothing but that. And now that I step away from it, I didn't even know it took a white woman. I was up for getting my secret clearance again, and they saw that I was in a lot of financial, there's like a lot of financial struggles. And she was like, why are you not paying your bills? Like, and so I just broke down and started crying and telling her what I was doing. Like I was giving all my money to the church.
Mm.
And she said, "Do you know that's financial abuse?" I was like, "What? I ain't never heard of that." She was like, I said, "Well, it's not like they asked me for it. It's just," she said, "But do they ever say no?" I said, "No." She said, "You're being abused."
So
It
you
doesn't.
felt doing God a service by
Yeah,
doing that.
I thought I was doing God. I thought that I was in covenant and doing what I'm supposed to do by giving all my money to the church. And after I had that conversation with her, and then after I got a call from, because I really was giving my money to that pastor, but after I got a call from the trustee saying, "Hey, we noticed that you're not giving your tithe." I said, "What?" So I called on 1,000. Then I was like, "How can you say I'm not giving my tithe? I'm getting all my money to you. You
Right.
don't. You didn't tell them that." So that was when I woke up and said, "Lisa, this is not right. You
So
have
let
to."
me ask you a question. Was you getting special attention from the pastor because of the money you was getting?
Behind the scenes,
Yeah.
not in front of everybody. No,
Yeah. So but you had proximity that other people didn't have.
right? I was like the driver and everything.
See, and that was a perk, which
Yeah,
everybody else will
I
want, and
guess.
something you like to have that access to a powerful man of God. So of course it was easy to give to somebody like that because of the perks.
Yeah, but looking back on it, it was not a perk.
Right. But that's a perk.
But then I guess I felt like it was a perk. But let me tell you, it's just a lot that when I watch documentaries like this, because I got juked two times. That time and the time when that it's in my book about that pastor that I had an abortion by. And I knew that he was not, it was right, it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I knew it, I knew it. But because I was broken, I think my daddy had died, and so it was just a lot going on. And that was crazy. That was only 3 weeks, and it felt like a year. It felt
There you
like
go. Answer the
years.
question. Being
Huh?
being broke and being broken is the perfect candidate for abuse.
Yep. Yep.
Broke and
So
broken.
that's why I watch those documentaries, because I can kind of relate, but then again, that's why I left the ministry I was at, because I was with that person while I was at that ministry, and it's like they didn't even know. And I said, "You don't notice anything different about me? What you mean?" So as long as I was doing what I needed to do, it was no type of insight, no type of, I see, like when I was growing up, the old mothers get to stirred up and say, "I see
Mhm.
sin, I see." It was none of that. And I was like, I cannot be under somebody that can't see. This is not working for me. And so that's why I say, when in these situations, why nobody just blow the whistle? be a whistleblower. In the church, there is never a whistleblower.
But you know,
It
with TP Joshua, there always was.
there
But
was.
because he was so powerful, they would just quiet it down and say, "Oh, that's the devil. They just left the ministry. Oh, it's a demonic
Got you.
spirit on them. Oh, they lying on the man of God. They just don't want to see us prosper over here because they know that we got miracles happening over here."
Mm-hmm.
So my husband said he would literally have arguments and like theological arguments against the members at school, like at college that he went to, and was like, "Y'all pastor crazy. Y'all been abused. Like, why y'all over there? No, that's our prophet. We love him. We love him." My husband's like, y'all are weird and y'all need to come from over there. But because they mind was so, he was like, then y'all just hear about the lady that just left and said she's pregnant by TP Joshua? No, she's a liar. Prophet says she's crazy. She has a demonic spirit on her. And they believed it. So there's always somebody who told, but I don't think it really got as big until people tell after somebody died. The same thing happened with the pastor I was sitting under. When he died, everybody want to tell what happened. And
Right.
I'm just like, not everybody feels safe to tell it because they know that whatever power he had over them, that if he's working black magic against them, it won't work no more.
Right.
He dead.
Now that's you know what? I ain't think about that now. Cause that is a thing. If they did really come up against TB Joshua, they would have to they would it would have been war
They were
spiritually.
then walking on the back of their necks and hopping like you know, them Africans
It
don't
would
play.
have been war, like for real. Now I might would have not said nothing to it till he died too.
And you
And
wouldn't have been warned just with TP Joshua. You would have been warned with his grandmothers, the other spiritual people in his village, his members that know how to do spiritual work, with all
yeah,
different
now you know what?
gods that the Yorubas be serving. You would have been warned with all of them. You would have been
I
halfway
understand.
crazy by the time they got finished working.
I
Work.
understand now. I totally understand that. I wouldn't have said nothing either until he was. I would have made sure. Is he really down there?
Right.
Before I say anything. Cause honey, well, what if he's still alive, honey? That would be crazy.
He did, honey, because he would have been trying to get his coin. He like that money too much. He is dead.
He would have said he risen.
He is not gonna let his wife run his church when that could be all his money.
Oh gosh, she looked dry too. Mm.
I haven't even watched her,
I
but
need to
they
go
still
see,
got
but she
thousands of
looked,
members.
huh?
They still got thousands of members to
I
this day.
know. It's
Like
because of
cars
his
down the
name.
street, like people taking public transportation and the bus dropping you off at the end of the street and they walking 20 minutes to get to the church to this day.
Mm.
And dirt kicking all on their feet. By the time you get to the front doors of the church, you got red clay dirt all over your feet. They don't care. And it's on a
Wow.
paved road or whatever. It's like in the center of like the ghetto and on the main land in Legos. But I'm just like, y'all love the ministry this much? Mm-mm.
I mean, I guess they saying that's the only ministry they got now.
They got hundreds of churches.
I'm
Churches just like
about to say they churches all over Nigeria.
they got churches like we got liquor stores in the hood in Nigeria on every corner.
I
And
know
they're
they do.
major churches. They got churches with 10 to 15,000 members on a regular, like multiple ones in one city.
Wow. That's I ain't gonna say that's crazy, but that's amazing. But like I said, I hate that, he's not here to defend himself, even though he probably would not have. But I'm glad that the people were able to get their testimonies out, their experiences out. I'm not one to be biased when it comes to, but it just the way that everything was set up, just like Cassie's testimony, there got to be some truth in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it's all, sometimes when we retell stories, we kind of do elaborate, and we leave stuff out that make us look bad. That woman with the eyes like that, I think she left some stuff
Why you
out
keep going like that?
because one of them was this way and one of them was that way. Because that's how her eyes look. So I believe she left some stuff out. I believe that the man left some stuff out. There are things that, I truly believe the daughter and I truly believe the lesbian girl because, what did they gain out of that? Because
Mm-hmm.
she didn't even really like men. So I mean, and she said he masturbated on her, so that means he didn't even really. And so she was like, I know she was terrified. Ugh, I can't even imagine. But my thing is, I I'm glad they got this story out. I am.
I am.
Um, and it shed a light, just like Cassie's thing shed a light to let us see. I really wasn't a fan of Diddy, but to see all the stuff that they saying that he did, and to see how everybody's like pulling away from him, and nobody came out to defend him, not one person, not even Young Miami.
He another R. Kelly. From what they're trying to paint him to be, allegedly, he's another R. Kelly.
He is.
And one thing about it, I don't believe in victim shaming or telling
Yeah.
people they can't tell their story.
Right.
Even if it may not be what we know to be true, I believe
Right.
there's freedom in telling your side. Now, I thank God I've never been molested or raped or taken
Mhm.
advantage of when it comes to ministry like that. But even if it's somebody I know, even if it's my pastor, if it happened to you, tell your side. And
Right.
I'm always an unbiased party. I'm never one of those people like, oh, you're a lie. That's my man of God. He healed us.
Right.
No, tell your story, and we're gonna let the chips fall where they fall.
Right. I believe that.
And I don't want somebody to kill themselves, because when you victim shame a victim, or you telling somebody that didn't happen to them and it actually did, you actually put them in another level of hurt. You
Right.
traumatize them all over again. How dare you say just because this is your dad that this didn't happen? You just don't know that side of them.
Right.
And we got to get to the point in the Black community and Black America, Black church, Pentecostal, whatever, Baptist, Methodist, non-denominational, that no matter how we view somebody to be some kind of holy God or deity, or no matter how much we feel like your pastor got power, that they have a side of them that you don't know. You don't know
Exactly.
everything about him.
Exactly.
Everybody got a side of them. When you go to work, you got Elisa at work.
Right.
You got the mama side, you got the church side, there's a friendship side. There's things about us that our parents would never know, and probably be shocked that they found out that we actually could do that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a common thing for
Right.
people to have different sides. So even with your leader, you got to know there's a side of him that you don't know.
Yep.
There's something that First Lady not telling.
Right.
There's a reason why she not clapping on Sunday morning.
Exactly. Exactly. And I always think about, I'm gonna write a book about it, first ladies. But I always think about the wives when this happened, because the wives are the ones that really suffer.
Yeah,
Like, they're the ones that give all they have to make sure that their husband is seen in the light that they're seen in.
absolutely.
So
They the real heroes.
yeah,
Yeah.
really are. And when your husband out here acted the fool and you got to clean it up, because that's really what they do.
There
They
is
do.
no glorified position when it comes to being a first
Mm,
lady. It's not.
mm-mm. It's
Y'all
not
see hats and shoes, and you see makeup, and not knowing the sacrifice that goes with that. I got too
right.
many first lady friends to this day that they pay most of the bills because the church is not doing as well as people think they are. And just because the church is full, don't mean people ain't putting $1 and $5 in the offering bucket. Or you got the pastor that's the evangelist that's saying, "Oh, I gotta wait until I do this revival, baby, and I'm gonna pay this." So you basing your money based off gigs. I would never. You hear me? Never live like that.
But like, you're taught that, thank God I didn't go through, when we first started ministry, I was the main breadwinner, but as time went along, that was no more. But my thing is, you never know what the pastor's wife, you got these women that's been mean to you for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any type of gripe with them, but they have a gripe with you because they want to be you. And
And can't
then
you?
never be me, but want to be you. Um, and then my insecurity came in because I wasn't like I'm charismatic, but I wasn't like the charismatic, like the land on the hands and people falling out. So I
Right.
wasn't that type, because I was more practical. I'm a
Right.
practical person, which is what them knuckleheads needed,
And they
because
don't.
you shouting all over everything, but you don't even know 2 plus 2. You
Mm-hmm.
need to sit down. And
Absolutely.
so my thing is, I felt like, a lot of things just it first ladies go through a lot, especially when you're trying to do all that you can, but the people only want to listen to the pastor. They don't,
Hmm.
you just there, you just a prop, but not knowing you're more than that. So I really, and then it hurt me too that there like other first ladies that did not mentor. They were insecure about, and I'm like, I'm trying to get mentoring from you, and you insecure of me. Like, what is
Because you
going
fine,
on?
Lisa. That's why.
I'm
You
fine,
been
girl.
fine since you was 2. So they send all them hips and things. They just like, I'm not gonna mentor somebody who could take
But
my.
but that was my and I it just it really put a bad taste in my mouth. Like because I wasn't raised that way. I was
But you got to know
raised.
it had nothing to do with you. They
Yeah,
know they man.
I know, I
They
know.
knew the pastor was a sleazeball, and they knew that you was attractive and you probably was his type because they've seen their husband's type. They're not gonna tell you that part.
Mhm.
But anytime you meet first ladies, which I've had a first lady here in Atlanta, same way. When somebody would join the church and she thought they was cute, she wouldn't talk to them. She wouldn't say anything to them. She was rolling her eyes. And I'm just like, oh, you my spiritual mother. And she just looking at me like, get away. I'm like, babe, I'm
No.
married. My husband may
Oh
not
my
come to church with me,
God.
Catholic, but I'm married.
That's crazy.
So
And
their
see,
insecurity was projected on you,
it
which made you
was.
insecure, but it wasn't even your fault. It was their husband had stepped out too many times with a woman that could look like you and probably was 20 years younger than them.
Mm-mm.
And now when they see somebody like you, they automatically assume that my husband's gonna want her too if I get her too close to us.
Child. I, so it just got to the point where I just did my own thing. And I finally went to like a first ladies brunch. And all it was, everybody was talking about their husband. And I was like, y'all, this is not uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. Why don't y'all just get divorced? Because if
Everybody
you're
need
this
divorce.
unhappy, this should not be. And so I say that to say that a lot of first ladies are just really just putting up with stuff. And they're really not happy. And they thought it was something that is not. And so when I look at the TB Joshua's wives and I look at, Sarita and all of them, I feel for them because you never would have thought that something like this would have came out on TVJ.
Absolutely.
Never in 1,000 years.
And we gotta pray for her. The same way we
Yeah.
pray for Bishop Eddie Long's wife.
Yeah, we
It's
do.
true or not, we can't say that because we're not the people that's
Right.
sifting through the evidence.
Right.
But I used to pray for Sister Long long time ago because just the warfare of having your husband name in the media, being
Mhm.
slandered like that, and you trying to shield your young kids from seeing it
Right.
on social media and from the news, and it's something in the back of your mind could wonder like, you know what, he do go out late on Thursday nights. I
Mhm.
wonder is that the time that he actually did that? It may not even be what he did, but
Right.
when you see so much, I don't care how long you've been married to somebody. When you got 4 or 5 people saying the same thing, whether they have
Yeah.
came together on a lie, whether it's actually the truth, it bothers with you. I don't care how in
Right.
love you think he is and how much integrity you have and all this other stuff, how much Jesus and good he preached. It's gonna bother you that your husband has his name out there, and it's gonna kind of make you look at him side eye.
Yeah. Especially if you've been faithful.
Mm-hmm.
Child. So yeah, we do have to pray for. I've been thinking about it too. We do have to pray for Rita J. Her and all of these that the first ladies that we just need to pray for them because they're the ones that get the bad end of the stick.
Absolutely.
So, but thank you for coming on. I usually don't stay on
Thank
this
you for
long.
having me.
See, Gatlin, you late. We done went through a whole lot of stuff. You gotta go back and
Gatlin, you
watch.
gotta rewind and watch the
You gotta go through the replay.
replay.
But thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us. I mean, I knew it was gonna be good
Uh,
because you crazy like me. So I
and
knew
country like you. We
yep,
both.
so I knew it was gonna be good. I'm glad that you told us your experience with your Nigerian husband. And I saw your wedding and everything. Y'all it make you want to, but I know I can't.
But Lisa, I had the same mindset when he said my husband told me I got introduced to him by one of my coworkers who was Nigerian, and he was like,
Mhm.
"I got a brother that live in Nigeria. You want to meet him?" I said, "I ain't married no African." First thing I said, "I'm not
Oh.
married no African." But he was so nice. He was so charming. And he was so genuine. And so I was like, well, maybe we just can be friends. And it just turned into a whole 6 year relationship. And I do not regret it at all. I tell anybody that before you marry somebody of a different culture, get all the counseling you need to get and talk to somebody who's actually in that lifestyle that's American, married to a Nigerian, married to somebody from Tanzania, so you can know what you're getting yourself into. Because there are certain principalities that you got to be strong enough to break down. But if you go past that and you can actually see the treasure at the end of the tunnel, baby, you have a good marriage. I promise you, my husband's like my best friend. We sit up here and laugh and talk and giggle like we 10 years old. Like
Well,
we
you
cook together, we do everything together.
take me to Nigeria next time you go. I
I got a few of them.
I know I can catch one, but it's the thing about it is I don't know. They would have to change their accent for me.
They regular people. They speak
'Cause
English
when I
and
hear
like
Prophet
they
Lovey voice,
speak
when
English.
I hear his voice, Prophet Lovey, when I hear his voice, I get turned off immediately. I just can't. It's something about their voice that just makes me like, ooh.
You'll get used to it. I had to get used to it too. I had to tell my mama when I took him to Alabama to meet my parents. My mom was like, "Can he hear me?" I said, "Mama, he not done." Is he understanding me? I said, "Mama, his first language is English. He just talk different." But yes, he hears you, and you in the room with him talking about, "Can he hear me?" Like, are y'all crazy?
That is so funny. Okay. Well, we'll talk offline. We'll
Okay,
see.
fine.
All
Well,
right.
thanks.
Thank you for joining me. And you
Bye.
guys go back and watch the replay if you haven't. This was a great conversation. All right, you guys, we talked about TB Joshua and everything else. So if you uh haven't watched it, you need to go on YouTube and go watch Disciples, the cult of TB Joshua. I don't know why I want to say TBG. TB Joshua. All right. He's no longer alive, but he left a mark in Lagos, Nigeria. And you need to go watch it and see what those people went through. And hopefully, like someone said up here, they need to get counseling and they need to go through therapy because what they endured was a lot. Thank y'all for sticking with me. A lot of y'all stayed on the whole time, and I appreciate that. I'll see y'all next week. We're going to be talking about some mess next week. All right. It's going to be worth your while. See y'all. Have a good night.